Good morning. Hi. I just scraped my microphone. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey. I hope you're well. We are well. I like to talk about how I lost 97.4 pounds after starting the ketogenic protocol, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. I'm in a little bit different venue today. Last several, I don't know, over the last winter and into the last several weeks, I have been broadcasting from our um, family room, but I wanted to shake it up and move over here. So here I am back in the kitchen. All right, today's topic. Oh, and if someone can let me know that you can see and hear me, I would really appreciate it. I never know. Can you see and hear me? Okay, nobody's chatting. Okay, well, I'll keep my fingers crossed that you can. Um, Today's topic is again, this is like what we eat around here. I've done this before and I have talked about it. And I really, first of all, recommend that if you're trying to follow the protocol and regain control of your health and um, to lose weight. Now, I'm a little concerned that nobody's chatting. Let me try something. Anybody there? Okay, now I've just gotten a message. Hold, please. Anyway, I recommend, when possible, to step away from thinking about food. Right? One of the great things about this is it's liberating. Let me see if someone's trying to let me know they can't hear me. Oh, please. One of the great things about this is see and hear you. Thank you, Kathy, but no one's doing that on YouTube. I wonder if the chat is broken. Anyway, I'll keep talking. Kathy messaged me through Patreon. Um, really, having our lives and days and thoughts revolve around food is maybe not the way we should be approaching our lives. But that is kind of where we've gotten. We're surrounded by advertisements for food and enticements for food. We've been conditioned to believe we need to eat 3 times a day plus snacks. Um, Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I am confused about the non presence of the chat. Um, so when you try to change the way you eat or how much you eat, it's best to learn, listen to your body. And here's the protocol as I learned it and as I've practiced it for now 9.5 years. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Total carbs, not net. If it's not on page 4, link below. Don't eat it. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Hard. It's the most challenging part. Stop eating when you've had enough, when you're satiated, and enjoy the feeling of satiety. And then I've added be patient and persevere. Bear with me one moment. I'm going to inquire of my producer whether he can see and hear me. Yeah, okay. Okay. Can you see any chat? Can you see a chat over there? I, I am not seeing anything. Okay. So I won't be able to answer any questions unless something changes. There we go. YouTube defaulted to changing a setting for me. Thank you very much, YouTube. Okay, now I can see. But realistically, people are curious about what to eat. Let's keep in mind, it's not what you do eat so much, it's what you don't eat. We can think that, oh, I'm going to change this. Now I first of all need special foods. No. Or there's not enough variety. Wrong. So what do other people eat? Let me tell you what we eat around here. Well, here's a basket of eggs. We eat eggs and we eat bacon. It's not all we eat. We could, if we wanted to, it'd be perfectly fine. A day for us, and my husband and I eat the same foods, but we eat different quantities usually. What did we have this past week for like the later meal of the day? He generally eats his first plate of fuel first thing upon rising, and it's 4 eggs scrambled, 2 slices of thick bacon, a mug of coffee with cream, and an ounce or an ounce and a half of queso fresco, white cheese. And I generally eat my first plate of fuel much later in the morning, or sometimes early afternoon. But I'll have eggs, maybe an ounce of shredded cheddar scrambled into it. I microwave mine. I'm kind of out of the habit of eating bacon or sausage or anything, and that'll last me. But then for a final plate of the meal today, okay, what will we probably have today? Um, I'm going to cook some chicken drummies in the air fryer. And I just took delivery of a head of cabbage. We don't eat many vegetables, but feeling cabbage salad. So I'll dice up some cabbage and maybe make a little bit of a slaw with some homemade mayo. And that will have chicken drummies and some slaw. Earlier in the week, we had beef liver sauteed with onions and mushrooms. Meatloaf. I have a fantastic meatloaf recipe. You can find it at my blog. I need to make a video about it, but it's fantastic. It's perfect every time. Ground beef with ground pork, egg, cream, breadcrumbs, crumbled breadcrumbs, not bread, excuse me, crumbled pork rinds, and then topped with some no sugar added ketchup with some mustard flavored in. It's fantastic. So meatloaf. I slow cooked a pork shoulder a couple of weekends ago. We ate on that for all week. So just big pork shoulder, slow cooked on the big green egg. I did brine it, which I am now starting to do with things. It was good. And, we just eat that with sometimes we'll just eat meat if we don't have any vegetables we want around. A salmon cooked quickly with the skin on. I did make a video about that, and maybe a side of broccoli. I've got a lamb roast in the freezer, pork belly, homemade pizza without the crust, or a crust that's made of shredded mozzarella and cream cheese and egg. But really, you just want the toppings. I'm trying to think what we've eaten recently. Chicken thighs cooked in the air fryer. Just salt, pepper, garlic, let them sit there for a while, cooked them up in the air fryer. 1 thigh per person. So a package of chicken thighs from Costco, they actually come with 6 compartments. Each compartment has 4 thighs. So 1 compartment lasted for 2 days because we each ate a thigh with some green beans, steamable green beans. This is what we eat. Hard-cooked eggs and a snap. I'm going to be making some beef jerky, homemade beef jerky. I've got my husband portioned brisket, and I will make the marinade and let it sit there and put it in the Excalibur dehydrator. So that's a little snack. This is just food. But the best thing is try not to think so much about food. I don't recommend trolling for fake baked goods recipes. If it's a recipe, my meatloaf is as close to a recipe as I have. Mostly it's a fatty source of protein, some reserved bacon fat, and however I'm cooking it, skillet, big green egg, air fryer, oven. That's it. Fatty source of protein, some reserved bacon fat to cook it if I'm sauteing, and maybe a handful of vegetables if we feel like it. Now, the key is when you decide what you're going to eat, it's the how much you're going to eat. I don't follow a course of time-restricted eating. I am pushing the peckishness further. I'm doing a little experiment. Peckishness is like, oh, I could eat. I'm peckish right now. As a matter of fact, I was peckish an hour ago, but I'm at the same level of peckishness. And I have something I'm doing at 11. So it'll be after 12 before I eat, and I'll be fine. But I'm pushing that because I eat more food than I require some days, not. So getting out of the habit of eating, we're in the habit of eating. We can get out of the habit of eating. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Push the peckishness. Eat normal food. If a product has the word keto on it, it isn't. It's the opposite. Okay? It's a non-regulated term. So just eat whole food. Some people say, but there's no variety. Let's be honest. Most of us, when we're just eating not the ketogenic protocol, we don't have much variety in our food. If you're like our family, particularly when the kids were here, at least one night a week was pizza. At least one meal during a weekend was going out to a restaurant or getting Chinese takeaway, going to a Mexican restaurant or Chinese takeaway, bringing home a bucket of chicken. Or even if you're cooking every meal, it's, Wednesday night is spaghetti night and Monday night is fried chicken night. And so it's not like we have 365 different meals that we're eating in a year. It's the same 3 or 4. It could be the same thing with this. Fatty sources of protein: pork, beef, poultry with the skin, eggs with the yolks, shellfish. See, oh, that's another thing. Shrimp. Beautiful shrimp, big ones, quickly sauteed. Perfect. Or you can put them on a skewer and put them in the air fryer. Scallops, bacon wrapped scallops. Oh, yum, yum, yum. So a lot of the food is food we've denied ourselves because we were told to, eat low fat. No, chicken is the best part. Excuse me. The skin is the best part of the chicken, in my opinion, particularly when it's crispy. Now, what do we do for so-called snacks? Something to munch on. Pork rinds. Find the one you like. It's like the great quest. Find the best pork rinds. And so you have a few pork rinds. To me, they're kind of self-limiting. I don't need many to feel satisfied. Again, beef jerky, boiled eggs. My husband eats mixed nuts. I very occasionally do, but I have to be very careful of them because they are easy to overconsume. Nuts are not on page 4. For one thing, they're calorically and carb dense. 1 ounce of mixed nuts, which is about that much in my small palm, it's about 175, 180 calories and about 6 grams of carbohydrate. And they're easy to mindlessly eat. So be careful. No, but he can do that. A slice of cheese. He'll have some mixed nuts and a slice or 2 of Havarti. What do we eat? We eat everything everybody else eats. We just lay off the carbs. That's it. It's not what you do eat, it's what you don't eat. If you want to eat the same meal every single day, don't even think of it as a meal. Same plate of fuel every single day, and you like it, do it. Nothing wrong with that. Some people really are like that. Some people won't eat leftovers. Okay. Figure that out for yourself. Give it to give the food to the dog or the cat, or pack it up, freeze it, have it another day. Find what works for you. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Total carbs, not net carbs. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. Eat slowly. That is key. If you inhale your food, you will possibly eat more than you really needed because leptin, which is the satiety hormone, the hormone that tells your brain you've had enough, takes a few minutes to get there. For one thing, shoveling your food in your face is not attractive to the people around you. Thank you, darling. And also, you might eat all the food when you only needed 3/4 of the food. Serve yourself less to start out with. These are things we have to learn. I eat less than I used to. This is a fact of life. I am older. I am smaller. I am at a different stage of life. My hormones are at a different stage of life. And that's okay to eat less than we used to. It's expected. Don't fear it. Almost all of us eat more than we require. Almost all. Now, that having been said, I am going to do a little acknowledgement of some things, and then I'm going to turn my eyes to the comments and questions. And I'm so glad that the chat was working. It was a setting on here that YouTube changed to default for me. Okay, anywho, you do not need to buy one product, one thing to be 100% successful at this protocol. Nothing. That said, no supplements, no special fancy keto waters, no powders, no exogenous anythings. I will sell you, though, water bottles. This is a good one. Mugs, caps, t-shirt. This one is IC and IW. I can and I will. Link to my spread shop below. 12-month record book. You can get this at Amazon. There's a link to it at my blog with some sayings and hopefully witty sayings and inspirations. And I have a private Patreon support group, a private support group on Patreon, some of whom are here. And I want to thank you. Depending on your tier level, you get 20 pre-recorded video snippets from me every weekday morning, pillow hair, pre-coffee, the topics often suggested, usually suggested by the patrons. Going up from there, a handful of patron-only live streams on Crowdcast from me every month. Going up from there, a handful of patron-only video group sessions on Zoom every month. Going up from there, a monthly one-on-one with me and some other little goodies that are going. Patreon has started a free trial. So if you go, and that is them doing it, not me. I allowed it, but it's their thing. So if you go to the Patreon link below, you can see at the $5 tier, 7-day free trial. Thank you very much. If none of that appeals to you, if you can just give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, that really apparently helps my channel, and it doesn't cost anything. And I see the hearts going up. I appreciate those as well. Hashtag Casey's Pink Drink. I get asked every time. Glass full of water. Full of ice. Diet tonic water, splash of diet cranberry, and a squeeze of lime. So, thank you very much. Now, let's look at what you guys have saying. To put my glasses on. And I just jump in. Shirlene Booker, I can see and hear you in New Jersey. Thank you. Judy Tucker, I just have antique cookbooks now. Now, Judy Tucker's lost 150 pounds. She started when she was 65. And I heard a very inspiring story on the People's Pharmacy this morning. I'm going to put a link to it on my Go Keto with Casey Facebook page. Speaking of age, Christina Barrick, I find I'm very much in the habit of eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner instead of simply eating when I'm hungry, working to change that habit. Good for you for working on changing it. And it is a habit. And we can change it. It just takes work, right? Also, it can take effort on the part of if we live with other people or an other person. Sometimes other people are uncomfortable eating if we are not eating. And that's understandable, appreciate it. Need to get over it. I'll be okay. Right? So my husband and I kind of had to work through this. Nothing dramatic, but he is now comfortable with the fact that I don't always eat when he's eating or eat much less than he's eating. Buster Sugar Annie. Funny thing happened this week. A family member complained that I didn't have one thing in the house that had sugar in it. Somebody, oh, good for you. And sucks to be them. Judy Tucker, everyone wants sweets. That's why they don't like keto, right? And listen, hey, for those of you who don't know my story, I was overweight, obese, and morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid-20s to my mid-50s. I put on 60 pounds during the pregnancy with our second of 3 children, and they just never lost it. And I got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm actually 115 and a half pounds off of my heaviest that I know of. And I knew since 1977, way before I was married or pregnant, that low carb worked for me. I was in college. I knew it worked. I lost a few pounds. I wanted to lose about 12, 13 pounds, did the induction period of Atkins, threw the book away because I lost the weight and went on about being my cute college and early 20s self. I knew again, I tried it again in the early 2000s because now it's pretty big. And I lost some weight, but I would try off and on. I'd say, well, I can't go the rest of my life without eating. For me, it was tortilla chips. I have a salt tooth and I enjoyed sweets. And you didn't get to be as big as I was. Go to my blog, look at the pictures. And that's not at my heaviest. I was perfectly round. We just have to make a decision. You know, they're now approving diabetes drugs for children. We're pumping our children full of what we call junk food. It's junk, and we feed it to our children and our grandchildren and our loved ones. And then we're surprised when they have health issues. So let's not any of us eat junk. Nobody needs sweets. Nobody needs sweets. Nobody needs sugar. Our body creates the amount of glucose required through gluconeogenesis. So I haven't had a sweet in 9.5 years. And I used to buy the giant bags of M&Ms at Costco, peanut and plain, at one time. And then I'd eat them. Amy Thies, I made it live from Germany. Judy Tucker, I have friends that say I'll just take my shot. I can't give up sweets. I've heard that as well. People saying, not them, but their loved ones. I'll take my insulin, but I'm not passing on dessert. It's sad. It's going to overwhelm our medical world, and it's going to cost all of us. Becky Dampier, no cookbooks here. Judy Tucker, Casey, can you share what you drink throughout the day? Well, I have thank you, Judy. I drink 2-3 mugs of coffee. Special, it's not fancy coffee, but it's perfect. And it's coffee with 2 teaspoons measured of heavy cream and Splenda. And then late morning, I'll switch over to sometimes just plain water. I fill this up with water, drink it, sip on it. Sometimes I'll have tea. Hot tea, but I don't mind just letting it get cold, and I drink it cold. I do consume non-sugar sodas, so no sugar ginger ale, Coke Zero, diet tonic water, which I just kind of like, and I get water enhancers. This happens to have, I don't know how I started doing on Saturday mornings for the live streams, the diet tonic and the diet cranberry, but I do. And then in the evening, I'll have a cocktail or two, but it's mostly diet tonic water with a little dash of vodka or gin when I'm feeling rich. I'm loving your pink drink. Thank you, Buster Sugar Nanny. Judy Dulledge, has anyone ever woken up in the morning, eyes still closed, and fear it is all a dream and you haven't lost a pound? I've had that dream. I can't remember whether I was actually awake. But I have had that dream where, oh, that didn't work. Or I dreamed that I'm eating food that I shouldn't be eating. Becky Dampier, any positive stories of knee pain improving? Yes, me. I have almost bone on bone in my right knee and it's painful. Has anyone had improvement when their knee is severely damaged? I've heard one doctor say that patients were sent to him because they were told to lose weight, to help lose weight so that they could have knee surgery because they had bone on bone. Turns out there wasn't bone on bone. It was fine. It was inflammation. Now, you might have bone on bone. I don't know. But inflammation causes a lot of joint pain. And that was one of the first things I recognized in myself before I lost just a very few pounds, was that my joint pain, which was all throughout my body, my shoulders, my wrists, my knuckles, my hips, knees, ankles, resolved. Jan Baker, morning. I love my bacon and eggs. I guess that's what I survive on. Kathy Davison, just graduated uh, and lost 20 pounds. I had a major sweet tooth, but once I added the protein, it killed the desire for sweets. What are your thoughts on cottage cheese? It's not on the list. I have no thoughts on cottage cheese. If it works for you, great. I like cottage cheese. I would just look at the carb count, is all I would say. Tina, in real life, I'm not giving those things up. That's not realistic, end quote. The two most common things I hear when people ask me what I'm doing, they act like I have the problem. Sharon Wild, all of my arthritic joints have less pain since keto. I couldn't even open twist lids or use a can opener. Now I can without any meds. Fantastic. Betty Lookaba, I had my annual physical and got the report back. My blood work is wonderful. My triglycerides and HDL are exactly where they're supposed to be, even though my total was high. I'm good with that. The total overall cholesterol number, meaningless. It's a mathematical calculation. As Zoe Harcum says, it's a mathematical calculation based on 5 factors, 2 of which can't be measured. That's congratulations. Butter Sugar Annie. Becky, yes, I used to have terrible crepitus in my knees, all gone. Wonderful. Judy Tucker, I'm so glad you and Dr. Westman are working with younger doctors on the protocol. Keep us updated on this. Judy's referencing that Dr. Westman created some introductions between me and 3 doctors that are in my general area, and he said we should all get together and chat, which we did at Weinstyles. And these are young people who are living the protocol, teaching the protocol, and they're not in some random practice. Wake Forest Baptist, Cone Health, which is a huge healthcare system here. And they are walking the walk, talking the talk, and teaching. And when I met, 2 of the doctors are married. She's due, I guess, in 2 weeks. She's pregnant, due in 2 weeks. They both look fantastic. They're both keeping keto. And the third doctor is just an amazing thing and quite the backstory. So I will keep you updated. And I appreciated, I was actually pretty honored that Dr. Westman would think that we should all talk together. Sharon Wild, I started keto because of severe pain in my feet from arthritis. Wow. And now it's gone. That's great. Judy Tucker, I was bone on bone, got shots every week, all gone now. Wow. Did you ever have to have knee replacement surgery or anything like that, Judy? Okay, LB writes, what do you think about taking electrolytes? I think you need to do what you want to do. I think it's an easily sold product. Electrolytes are just sodium, potassium, magnesium, maybe some calcium. I don't treat for symptoms that I don't have. And I personally, the electrolyte products that I've seen are too high in sodium for me because I tend towards edema. So I get sufficient sodium in my food. I do take magnesium supplement, Mag 64. I get it at Amazon. If you go to my blog, I've got a list of my favorite things, and I get it 5-pack at a time. Slow release magnesium. It's the generic formulation of Slow Mag, and it's magnesium chloride. And that's, we do take cod liver oil. Carlson's cod liver oil, a teaspoon a day. But no, if it makes you feel better or it works for you, great. But no, I think it's another product to sell. Colleen Sprout, what are the first things to consider when arriving at desired weight? Tips to recommend maintenance? Keep doing exactly the same thing. The thing is, don't eat if you're not hungry. I don't start adding things back in that are going to make me put on weight, which would be, and make me feel bad and make my joints hurt. I don't add back carbs back in. If you don't want to lose any more weight, that's fine. But listen to your body. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Eat if you're hungry. Stop eating when you've had enough. And our body figures it out. My husband got to his ideal weight in 6 hours. And he's maintained it. He is steady Eddie. He eats when he's hungry, doesn't eat if he's not hungry. He manages it. Some days he eats more, some days he eats less. Some days he leaves a plate on his food and we put it in the fridge and he eats it tomorrow. Some days he cleans his plate. Some days he's jumped on the bicycle and ridden for 25 miles. Some days not. So keep doing what you're doing. To me, there's no change. No knee replacement, writes Judy. LB writes, thank you, Casey. And Sandra Snyder, Carolina Country Snacks, old-time fat back skins from Henderson, North Carolina are my favorite. Okay, that's another one to put on the list. Carolina Country Snacks, old-time fat back skins. So, sodium sensitive here too, writes Judy Tucker. Okay. So first, I've listed off things that we eat. But people shouldn't eat what we eat. You should eat what you eat. But it's not what you do eat that counts. It's what you don't eat. And don't eat if you're not hungry. And try to step away from videos and Facebook groups and things about food. If you were in recovery from alcohol, you wouldn't think it would be a good idea to watch YouTube videos about how to make cocktails or cocktail recipe Facebook groups or reading the bartender's guide. You would say, no, I need to not do that. I need to not hang around with people who are drinking if it's a struggle. Consider it the same thing about food. Free up your brain, free up your time. It's amazing how much time you end up in your life and in your brain when it's not overwhelmed with thoughts of food. Can I get an amen? Which means, and so it is. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your Saturday. I appreciate you lending an ear to my voice. And I'll see you next week. God willing, the creek don't rise. And some of you I'll see at 11 o'clock for our patron-only video group session. Amen, amen, and amen. Amen. Thanks. Bye, guys.